thinking about what's doing my wildcard. Where would I find that out? On Odds on FPL. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that YouTube channel. So I'm going to go through wildcards, fixtures, suggestions, transfers, whatever you want here. So if that's something you're looking forward to or you need help with, this is the channel for it. Stick around. First and foremost, subscribe. There's loads of content on this channel, some different, some like this. There's something really for everybody except for people who like trap music. Get out, pretty much. So yeah, anyway, first up, I'm gonna give two shout outs. One to FPL Pup. I've pretty much snaked his whole fixture planner and bastardized it and just worked from that as a basis. And then earlier on, I was checking out about fixture difficulty and I found a lovely visualization from Tim Byer. So if you're looking into fixture planner, check out FPL Pup. And then if you're looking into visualizing the data, check out Tim Byer. So first up, I'm going to go into the fixture planner. I'd looked at it and then I'd chosen out some players that I thought were good picks. Meslier, Jose Sa, Pickford, De Gea, Areola, Raya, Bachmann, Gunn. Gunn's not really a pick, but he's a 4 million and he's going to be the backup. He's got a chance of playing. When I was looking at them, I was like, these are good players, good price points. I don't really want anybody over 5 million. I thought De Gea, game against Newcastle's really good. Then Areola, probably not starting, but he could be good soon enough. Raya's look good, 4.5 million. Bachmann as well, look good. So it was about picking the right goalkeeper. I sort of thought through these players and I thought they'd all be good, but then you have to choose two. So Gunn's definitely one of them, but then I had to think about how can I spend my money best. I thought Meslier was probably the best pick, but the big red against Liverpool just didn't do it for me. Then next up was defenders. There's a big old list of defenders here, and it's sorted here by prices. You can see here there's a lot of options. So the reality is you gotta find a way to spend this money. I thought players like Reguilon, Christensen, Matip, all interesting, and then Lamptey's coming back to fitness. Rico Henry at Brentford, Koyate at Crystal Palace is playing as a centre back. Ben White, Livramento. There's so many players to consider, but when you look at this fixture planner here, you can see from game week 4 to 10, some of these players have better fixtures than others. Like, for example, Zuma's gone to West Ham. I think he could be a good pick. He'll score goals, but will he come straight in? It's a lot of thinking like that. Then Cancelo at 6 million. You think he's nailed on, but then the next 4 games, it's against Leicester, Chelsea, and Liverpool, and 3 of the 4. They're not really good games, so he's not really that much of an option. I think there are some teams, and City are one of them, who sort of are a bit fixture proof, but you don't really want to have defenders who cost 6 million when they're playing teams like that, especially with 2 away fixtures to Leicester and Chelsea. With Trent, 7.5 million is a lot, but looking at those fixtures, 4 out of 5 are pretty good. And then after it's United and Brighton. If you look at it out of five games, it looks good. It's all about finding value here, and then it's also about finding fixtures. In midfield, then, this is where the headaches started happening. There's so many options this year. So many. And this is just a list of some of them. At the bottom end, Sissoko's come in at Watford, and he looks like he's probably the best 4.5 million pick in the game. Then there's players like Smith Rowe and Buemo, Gallagher, Gray, Trincao, Adama, Sarr, 6 million and below. So much options. It's all about fitting the right ones in. So hopefully I created like this big list to work off as a basis. And then I just was like, how do I filter this down? There's even players like Son, Sancho, De Bruyne, Mane, Fernandes, Salah. It's complicated. I think all of these players could be good picks. Even somebody like Dele Alli or Ferran Torres, Gundogan, Mount. Like, as in, it's about finding the best ones. And then the forwards as well. There was a massive list. Like, there's so many premiums. Vardy, Lukaku, Kane, Ronaldo. How do you fit them all in? It's almost impossible. It's about choosing the best players and then also trying to well, get the best fixtures. If you look here, there's players like Wood, Jimenez, Bamford. All these players are going to score points. Then there's Dennis and Pokey under 6 million and Armstrong 6 million. These are enablers. So to do this, I found a website, and let me just go onto the website now. So here's the website. Essentially, it allows you to sort by the difficulty in fixtures. So I'm just going to refresh this. Let me just do that. So it shows the next 6 game weeks, but I don't want that. I want number 7 because Cristiano Ronaldo. So let's change this up to 7. So now what it does here is over the 7 matches, it gets the average fixture difficulty and gives it a rating. Obviously, the lower the better. So this allowed for me to be able to remove some players. So because you're going to look at this and think, you know what, Villa, Palace, don't want them in your team. So let me scroll down and show you that. 78.9, 78.1, Brentford. So this is already eliminating players from your options. And then Man United are incredibly low. Look at that. But then if you look at the fixtures, United, this game, this game, this game, this game, Newcastle next is a really good. Look at the fixture difficulty, 61.1. And then against West Ham, 76.3. Villa, 69.5. Everton, 73.2. So in the next 4 games, it's pretty decent. But then they've got Leicester away, Liverpool, Spurs. Their fixtures do turn. So United could be a side that you want in there short term, but not really like anything longer than long term. In terms of selection, you wouldn't be having double or triple. That's my train of thought anyway, because you're basically planning 2 transfers out, unless you want to keep somebody like Ronaldo for a season. But at his price point, I don't see it as being a reasonable option, especially with somebody like Lukaku. At Spurs as well, they're not a team you target. So players like Kane, Son, even though they have got a good fixture against Crystal Palace with a fixture difficulty rating of 64.8, it's not really a game you want. Like, as in, that's a grand game, but it's away, and they're not scoring many goals. They'll probably win it, but not by much. Brighton as well, bin their players, you don't want them. Southampton as well. Man City, as I said, they're sort of fixture proof. Leicester away is probably not that bad. Southampton at home isn't that bad. Chelsea and Liverpool away, oh, bad. That's why it's so bad. Look at that, 90.9, 91.1. The rest of the games, they really only got like 2 really bad games, but they should beat Leicester, Southampton, Burnley, Brighton, Crystal Palace. I don't put much value into that price considering it's based on the average when 2 of these figures are way out, 91.1 on both of them, or 91.1 and 90.9. So City's figure should be a lot lower if you just discount this too. But if you were to pick a player off of City, it could be like a lower price player. Let's say somebody like Gundogan or Ferran Torres, something like that. It's not too risky, and it's somebody who you can have in it. Personally, I don't think you should have a defender because like Leicester probably won't keep a clean sheet. Chelsea, Liverpool, they're difficult games to keep clean sheets in. I think their attacking players will do well. Somebody like Grealish, but no. Newcastle, you're mad if you have them. Leicester, if you're wildcard and you don't wildcard in players who have City at home, and then Brighton away, Man United at home in the next 5, not attractive fixtures. West Ham as well, they're not really that targetable. But then pretty much everybody above this is pretty good. And something to consider is Norwich. Norwich's fixtures are turning. Like, I know they've ranked Arsenal away as a difficult fixture, but do you think that anymore? There's players in their squad who are interesting. Players like Timu Pukki, Milo Rashica. Then there's what else do they have? But yeah, Angus Gunn as well. There's players in there who are interesting. These are the fixtures you should be looking at. Alright, so Chelsea, Watford, Everton, Leeds, Arsenal, Wolves. If you look at Chelsea, they're rating 70.9, but then Spurs and City bring that down. So if you're looking at bringing in a Chelsea player, I probably wouldn't bring them in until game week 7 where their fixtures change. So there's a nice little transfer here. You could bring in United players, let's say Ronaldo or Luke Shaw, something like that. And then in game week 7, you could plan to dip them out, bring in Chelsea players, because their fixtures after that are lovely. Everything below 70. Watford as well, they've got so many cheap assets. Sarr, and then Dennis the Menace up top. I hate myself for saying that. But then Everton as well. Realistically, looking at these guys here, Everton, Leeds, Arsenal, Wolves, you can almost triple up on all of them. Even double up. Well, at least double up. The one thing with Leeds is the first fixture is against Liverpool of 87.5, which is crazy when you consider that's an average. They would be the best fixture-wise otherwise, because they've got Newcastle, Watford and Norwich. You need Leeds players. Wolves as well, like there's not really a difficult fixture there. Arsenal as well, their only difficult game is against Spurs, so there's somebody you should be targeting. Well, Leicester away as well. But realistically, these are all the sides you should be looking at. So basically, looking at this, I've decided to take some analysis of it, and then from it, I took teams to target are Wolves, Arsenal, Leeds, Everton, and Watford. They're the top 5. Teams to target soon: Chelsea, game week 7, Burnley, game week 7, Man City, game week 8, and then short-term picks, Man United. 3 games where they're good, and then you could dip out somebody like Ronaldo, bring in Lukaku, game week 7. There are some teams to avoid though as well. Villa, Brentford, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Leicester, Newcastle, Southampton, Spurs, West Ham. This really isolates a lot of players and gets rid of a lot of them. So based on what I had already, there was the listing of players that I wanted to bring in. From this, I was able to eliminate all the teams to avoid, a lot of the players who were in the teams to target soon, and then it left me with a much smaller list. From this, I was able to build my drafts, and then it just probably made my life a little easier, even though it's a lot of work. But yeah, anyway, so for our goalkeepers, it's now brought it down to just these players. Meslier, Saw, Pickford, Bachmann and Gunn. Gunn was always going to be it. Looking at this, I decided then, okay, who has the best fixtures out of these? It's Saw. Look at it, 7 games. You want your goalkeeper to be in there for the whole time. Watford, Brentford, Southampton, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Leeds and Everton. They're all games that Wolves could easily keep a clean sheet in. If you look at Meslier, his first game's against Liverpool. Pickford has Man United and West Ham. Then Bachmann has Liverpool. Everton away. Leeds away. So, yeah, there we go. Sah's going to be one of them. But then Bachmann as well is a consideration. I've got a couple drafts with a couple different ideas. In defence as well, it's crazy to think that there's only one player above 7.5 in there, and it's Trent. His fixtures are good. City is the one which destroys them. Man United as well. But then Shaw as well, he's a good short-term at least pick for a few fixtures. Luka Dean, also very nice fixtures. The only bad one is Man United. The rest of the players, like Tierney, is easily swappable with White. Then Semedo and Coney. If you really wanted, you could swap out Trent for Matip, but I don't think it's coverage. And right now, I think the best 4 million player from a defender's point of view in the game is Brandon Williams at Norwich. Fixtures are really good. And if he plays, they could get a clean sheet. He's a yellow card magnet though. You do need players like Brandon Williams, as it's already been seen. Players like Shane Duffy have already gotten loads of points. When it comes to the midfielders, the list has gotten much smaller. But I still haven't eliminated players who play for Man United or for City. Because I think for sides like that, essentially, they're going to score goals. It doesn't really matter. It's more about the clean sheets. I've discussed Fernandes recently, and I don't think he's a great pick anymore. Purely because of the fact Ronaldo's going to be on penalties. So 50% of his goals last season came from penalties. It really eliminates a lot of stuff from him. In terms of the attackers, if you're going between Salah and Mane, you know who you're picking. Not Mane. I think I'd probably rather Jota than Mane. When it goes to the rest of the midfielders, Kevin De Bruyne has been injured, but in his fixtures, he could play as a false 9 in the games against Chelsea and Liverpool, out of position. Then if he's fully fit, he's going to start every game. Sancho has a knock on England international duty. Grealish, Pogba, Greenwood, Jota, Gundogan, Torres. The top of this list, the expensive players are all at the big sides. But then below that is Rafinha. Rafinha could be an issue because he's travelled to Brazil, but he's a great pick. He's just class. And realistically, if you were picking him, you wouldn't be playing against Liverpool. The 6 games after that: Newcastle, West Ham, Watford, Southampton, Wolves, Norwich. Chef kisses. Sarr is next. Watford's fixtures are great apart from Liverpool. There's something similar there between Rafinha and Sarr. Imagine if you had 2 of them, you could rotate. Then Adama as well. Adama and Trincao both look really good. Wolves as an attacking team are creating so many chances, but they're not scoring. It will come though. It will, I think. In terms of the other midfielders, there's Gray from Everton, who scored a couple of times now. Then there's Smith Rowe, Rashika, and Sissoko. Sissoko's the best 4.5. I've already said it. And then Rashika, if you're looking for a punt, man, that's a good punt. Same with Smith Rowe and Odegaard. But I think with Smith Rowe and Odegaard, they're going to be stepping on each other's toes. And I don't know if Arteta knows how to pick or set up an attack. So yeah, that's a bit of a worry. They're still good defensively at times. Like, Arsenal have been underrated because of the fact that they've been poor in their opening fixtures, but they've had tough games. They'll turn it around, and with a fixture run like Norwich and Burnley next, if they don't pick up at least 4 points there, Arteta has to go, doesn't he? Up front, I have the file, but it's just not here yet, so just give me 1 second. This is a bit of an interesting one, isn't it? Because now you don't know what's coming. So here it is. Sorry about that. I don't have a team or anything here. It's just me. So there's Calvert-Lewin, Ronaldo, Antonio, Bamford, Wilson. I kept Antonio in there because for 5 game weeks it's good. Man United's probably not, but you know. And then Wilson, he's got a couple of good games, but as well I probably wouldn't. But the players that I would be targeting in something like this are Ronaldo, Calvert-Lewin, Bamford, Jimenez, Wood, Pukki, Dennis. Wood's fixtures turn after game week 7. I know there's City there, but then after that their fixtures are really good. Pukki, Dennis are 2 really cheap enablers with great fixtures. You could bring in both of them and then have Ronaldo, and then you could have a super attack. So yeah, because then there's a good few options here. So that's how I've gotten it down to this smaller amount of people. So from this, I've created a couple drafts. The first one includes nobody other than the big man himself, Cristiano Ronaldo. In goal, we've got Sa and Gunn. Gunn's going to be in all the drafts. But then in defence, we've gone Luke Ayling, Williams, Dean, Trent, and White. It's a really solid backline. 4 players there, and Brandon, who can all score points. There's a lot of attacking output there, but White and Ayling as well. Solid, good rotation, great fixtures. Should get clean sheets. In midfield, Rafinha, Salah, Sarr, Smith Rowe, Traore. 5 midfielders there who's going to give you a headache. So let's say what you could do here is just choose them all. But yeah, so they'll rotate well. Rafinha doesn't have a good first game, neither does Ayling. Then Jimenez, Ronaldo, and Calvert-Lewin up top. That's a beautiful team. So if you were going first game week, you'd have Sa, Dean, Trent, White, Salah, Sarr, Smith Rowe, Traore, Calvert-Lewin, Ronaldo, Jimenez, and you kept them Ronaldo. I think that's a really good team. It spreads out your budget well. Fixtures are great. You don't have to plan for transfers. Realistically, that's a really good wildcard team, which includes Ronaldo. So if you're thinking about something like that, it's budget spread out well. You still have Salah, Ronaldo, Trent, Jimenez, Calvert-Lewin. You've got loads of captaincy options. And all of those players in midfield can get you goals and points. Now, there is a question where some people have asked for no Ronaldo in their team. So, for a team with no Ronaldo, bring in Pukki. Not, he's half the price, you know. But with that, you're allowed to have Bruno Fernandes. You have Ferran Torres. You bring in Sissoko as your 5th mid. Then in defence, you have Semedo, Williams, Dean, Trent. You have a better defender in Tierney, and you have Bachmann. The rotation here could be that you have Sa, but then you have Semedo. So essentially, it's just giving you a bit of more variety. Tierney as well has an attacking output. So you could keep him on the bench and have another 0.5 if you want White instead. So essentially, it's a very good team. The core of this team is built on certain players, like as in there's Wolves players in here, Leeds player, Watford player, another Watford player, Arsenal, Norwich, Everton. So these are all players with great fixtures. Next up, it's a request which breaks my heart. It's a draft which has no United. And it has Kevin De Bruyne in it. And Bamford. So essentially, a lot of these teams have similar sort of styles, as in Trent's in all of them. DCL and Jimenez are in all of them. Rafinha's in all of them. Gunn is in all of them. Williams is in all of them. Dean's in all of them. There's certain players that should just be in your teams if you're wildcarding, and these are them. So I've talked about these players enough by now. You know who they are. In this one, you have Kevin De Bruyne, who's a bit of a different option. It's interesting because it's a big differential. I think a lot of people are going to have players like Ronaldo if they wildcard. So you could be going and rising up the ranks with something like this, or you could regret not bringing in Ronaldo. That front line has goals in it though. Jimenez, Bamford, and DCL. All those players are going to score goals. In this, you've got a treble Wolves. You've got double Leeds, double Everton. Interesting. Double Liverpool as well. This is a really good team. All these 3 drafts are great for a wild card. No, I'm just, But yeah, this is all of these teams are based on fixtures. And realistically, these are players in your team who are not going to have to move for a long time. So yeah, anyway, that's been it. Hopefully I haven't bored the arse off you. And if I have, why are you still here, man? It's like 20 minutes into the video. Come on. You should have just clicked off. But yeah, if you've lasted this long, congratulations. Your girlfriend must love you. Or your boyfriend. Or whoever. I'm, whatever. I don't care. You do whatever you want. But yeah, I've been Paddy. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's helped you to pick your team. If you liked it, subscribe. If you didn't like it, subscribe. That's been me. I've been Paddy. You've been you. I'm gonna start calling you people like the odd fans, or the odd lads, or the odd people, just so we have a name. So anyway, yeah, bye. See ya. Bye bye.